my name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you have any ideas for shows or just anything you would like for me to talk about in general, send an email to donna@donnasedge.com. That's donna@donnasedge.com. And I'll take care of it and do some research for you, and we'll see what we can get ready for a show. Let's talk about cooking out hamburgers. And I'm going to share some information with you today about why you should buy your beef locally. This is what we do. We actually buy our beef from a company called Lone Tree Ranch. And I don't know why I'm calling them a company. They're so wonderful. I mean, they really are. They're local to us and local to this area. And Lone Tree Ranch, they are located kind of between Fort Payne and Collinsville, kind of at that area. Well worth the drive, and you know you're getting good quality beef. Don and Judy Hunton own this company. The telephone number is 256-523-6412, and that's 256-523-6412, where we buy all of our beef. As a matter of fact, I'm going to let you look at a video. And this is a video we're getting ready to cook out, and there are a couple of things we like to do for our hamburger meat. And I'll always add a pound of sausage. So this is what we do. So I have ground beef from Lone Tree Ranch, by the way, that has been in my freezer over a year, and it's still good. So what I'll do is get out a couple pounds of the ground beef and let it thaw out in the refrigerator. I don't like to leave it out on the counter. It's probably okay. I just, I may forget and leave it there for hours, and I just don't want to do that. So I'll put it in the refrigerator overnight and thaw it out. And then the next day, I like to do this, it's like a 2-day cycle. So if I know I'm going to cook out on Saturday, for instance, what we'll do is put the hamburger meat and the sausage, a pound of sausage, in the refrigerator and let it set overnight and let it thaw out. And then that'll be on Thursday. Then on Friday night, what I'll do is get the meat and I'll mix it together and put my spices and put my herbs and things in it. And then I'll go ahead and form it into patties. Phil likes his pretty big. I like mine smaller. So whatever size we like. And then I'll go ahead and put that together, let it sit in the refrigerator. And then the next day, what I will do, you'll see me on the video, I'll go ahead and fry, because I want it cooked a little bit. So here's what happens. Okay, when you cook out, and this used to happen to me continuously, every single time I cooked out, a lot of the hamburger meat would wind up in the fire because it was just, first of all, I didn't go ahead and set everything up, put barbecue sauce in it and everything the night before and form it into a patty. And I would do it right then, and it would just fall apart. And some of it would fall into the fire. Well, that's a total waste. And you don't want to do that with that good meat you get from our company we buy our meat from Lone Tree Ranch. So I found that if I cook it, I get my skillet out. I love my iron skillet. I have about 5 of them. And I make sure I've got one handy at all times. I'll put a little bit of Pam spray on it so it doesn't stick to the bottom. I'll start it on high heat, and then I'll put the patties in. I only do about 4 at a time, okay? Because if they're too close together, they're going to start crumbling, and it'll just be a mess. So I'll go ahead and fry about 4 patties at a time. I usually wind up doing about 20 because we love them leftover. They're as good leftover as they are the day you cook them. And then I'll put some in the freezer and use my little thing that takes the air out of bags, and because oxygen again is an enemy to your food in the freezer or even if anywhere. Oxygen is an enemy. So I'll go ahead and I'll pan sear those for about 4 minutes on each side, and that way I know that it's in good shape. So pan sear those about 3-4 minutes, depending on how you like yours done. I like mine pretty well done. I really don't want any pink in it, and neither does Phil, and neither does Mother when she eats with us. And so about 3 or 4 minutes on each side, then I'll flip it, and then I'll go ahead and put it in a pan. And I'll put the aluminum foil down, and then I'll put some paper towels because I want to make sure that grease gets out of there, okay? Because it's going to be almost cooked. All we're doing is heating it on the grill, and you'll get the same taste. I mean, it's going to be a really good taste, a good flavor. And so put the foil on top of it, and I may even stick it in the refrigerator for a couple of hours. So when Phil's ready to go ahead and cook it out on the grill, It's not going to crumble. I'm not going to lose most of it. And then our hot dogs, what we'll do is go ahead and get those hot dogs, and I'll go ahead and put some, I'll get my paring knife, and I'll just make some little slits going all the way down, about 3 of them, on 3 different sides of the hot dog. And then I'll let those soak in barbecue sauce. I'm going to tell you, they're really good. And they're already cooked. A lot of people leave them out on the grill too long, and then they're too hard, and you can't stand it when it's left over because it's just too much of the good stuff. Basically, all you want to do is let that barbecue sauce cook on the hot dog. And you'll see what I'm talking about when you look at the video in just a couple of minutes. So I'm getting hungry thinking about it. How about you? And then they're done. So Phil will go ahead and heat up the hamburgers first. And then he'll throw the hot dogs on there, and basically he just goes on ahead and turns it off because they're already cooked, and all you're looking for a little bit of swelling on those hot dogs. Then he takes everything off of the grill, and then we start going at it. I mean, it's really good that way. Let's look at the video, and what I just said to you is going to make a little bit more sense. And here we go. Listen to that. Is that not a beautiful sound? This is hamburgers cooking, and this is beef that we got at Lone Tree Ranch. So here's a little secret. First of all, they have the best meat, and you need to get in contact with them. I'll have the contact information on the video, but I like to use the iron skillet. Okay, so this is Labor Day coming up, and this is the secret. Do you ever cook out and lose some of the meat to just falling through the grill? So if you'll pre-cook it, don't cook it all the way through. Just about 4 or 5 minutes maybe, depending on how you want your burgers done. 4 to 5 minutes on each side, and an iron skillet is best. And if you don't have the iron skillet, that's okay. So 4 to 5 minutes on each side. Use paper towels because it absorbs some of the fat content that may be, still in it. And put that on top of foil. Use a big pan, just like I'm doing right here. And then when you finish with it, what you'll do is season with barbecue sauce. And look at that sizzling. And this Lone Tree Ranch, get in touch with John and Judy Hunting with their name. So what you'll do is get a little barbecue sauce and put that on top as well. That's going to help keep it moist. And see how I like to drizzle it? So this is going into the refrigerator. So I'm up early doing this, okay? So fridge and let it set. And then when you're ready to cook out, put these things on the grill. And they're not going to fall down into your grill, okay? Because they're going to have that. See how that is? You're still going to have that outside grill flavor. I like to use liquid smoke, by the way. Oh, and it takes about 2 days to do this because what you want to do is thaw the meat out and barbecue sauce in it, any of your favorite herbs, you can onions inside, whatever you want to do. And, well, this is how you cook out. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm dying to have one of these right now, and I've had breakfast. So, wow, can't wait. Lone Tree Ranch. Get in touch with Judy and Don Hunting. They're in Collinsville, Alabama. I just love the sound of that. So instead of recording a song, I think I'll just record the sizzle. Stay here. Oh boy, aren't you hungry? Just listening to that sizzle is just enough to do it for you. I'm ready for lunch. How about you? I don't think I've got any left over, but anyway, it's just such an easy thing to do. And then this is another thing you can do, okay? And this is the reason I cook up so many of these hamburgers. And then what I'll do, I'll put some in the freezer, and I'll try to leave a little space, and I'll wrap them individually, or at least 2 at a time. And so this way, when we're hungry, we think, you know what? We've been working all day. We've been taping all day long. I really don't want to cook, but I want a burger. Hey, guess what? I've got some in the freezer. So all I got to do is take them out and let them sit just for a little bit. Put them in the microwave, and then you'll want to defrost them about 30 seconds at a time. That way you're not going to harden them. You know, that's the thing about the microwave. So why do we do this? Why do I go to Lone Tree Ranch instead of just running to the grocery store and buying my beef? First of all, I know what's in it. I know the people who own the farm and Lone Tree Ranch. Telephone number again, 256-523-6462. They are also a sponsor of one of our birthday clubs, so we appreciate them doing that as well. And so you can get whole or half available. They also have replacement heifers available. And you can also go in with a friend. Now, I had a friend who was going to go like, I was going to do like a half a cow, and then she was going to do a quarter, I was going to do a quarter. We were just going to kind of split everything up. She changed her mind at the last minute, of course. But I'm kind of glad it worked out that way. Because again, I've got a freezer full of not only ground beef now, but I've got steaks. I'm talking top of the line steaks. If you go to a restaurant and get a steak of this quality, it's going to be at least $40 a person, probably more than that, and definitely more than that by the time you pay your server. You have to pay a lot now, paying your server their commission as well. And so I've had beef roast, and the beef roasts are like super good as well. Not a whole lot of marinating has to be done with these because they're just super, super good. If you want to fill your freezer full or maybe go in with a friend, you can go ahead and place your order and they'll be glad to take care of you. Let's go into a commercial break. Before we go in, that number again is 256-523-6462. Let's go into a break. We'll be right back in just a minute. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took MyPillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented MyPillow to bring you the best pillow in history, MyPillow 2.0. Because of all of you, MyPillow 2.0 has been a huge success, and now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere MyPillows with the same temperature-regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our MyPillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows Regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Okay, we are back from the commercial break. Just wanted to show you, I did go ahead and put that telephone number in there for you for Lone Tree Ranch. And go ahead and check them out. You get the best prices. And again, it's local. But I wanted to go over with you a few reasons why you should buy local wherever you live. There's a local rancher somewhere, and you really need to get in contact with them, because I promise you're going to get the absolute best quality. If you do this, you don't have to worry about what's in it. But there are a few questions you may want to ask the rancher if it's someone you don't know, okay? So consider switching local grass-fed meat. Let's find out why. Okay, there's a lot of headline hype about food health and what's in it. What's injected into a cow or what's injected into meat you buy from the grocery store, you don't know, could possibly come from China. I don't want my meat coming from China. I want it to be right here in my local area. So let's talk a little bit more about that. And I wanted to mention this. I thought this article was pretty true, because they're talking about a lot of producers and a lot of consumers, but some of the folks, what they inject and what they put into, I'm talking about the big companies, what they inject into meat may not be good for you. So this is why you want to think about going to grass-fed, local grass-fed and pastured meat. It's just really simple. First of all, it's a simpler equation. So let's talk about that. Utilizing a more direct link to your meat right down the road from us. Like a local farmer or researched grass-fed product option is opting out of the centralized meat industry, which I don't like, and going straight to the source. Okay, less hands have been in it. You get what you pay for, and you get to support the dignified occupations of your farmer, your butcher, and your local retailers. That's the number one reason right there. What's in it? There are questions you need to ask your local farmer. Is it grass-fed? Do you use hormones? These folks don't use hormones in their grass. Again, that's Lone Tree Ranch. You see the telephone number right there. It's more nutritious. Overall, it has less fat and more omega-3 fatty acids and more antioxidants, vitamins to it as well. Something else I want to talk to you about is it contains less chemicals, as in no chemicals at Lone Tree Ranch. In grain-fed meat, there's a higher risk that chemicals, steroids, antibiotics, and hormones or other non-food elements were added to the animal's diet. Now, buying grass-fed, pasture-raised allows only one to completely avoid all of these risks. I want to know what's in my meat. There are talks about, and a lot of research has been done on this, on chickens. I'll just use chickens for an example, where they use chemicals on these chickens, and girls are developing a lot, if you know what I mean, in much earlier preteen years than they used to. It's because of the hormones that have been put in the chicken. So, I mean, you've got to be careful. You've got your family you have to think about there as well. Okay, in grain-fed meat, there is a higher risk that chemicals, steroids, antibiotics, hormones, or other non-food elements were added to the animal's diet. So buying grass-fed, pasture-raised ones allowed to completely avoid these risks. Another thing that I want you to think about too, and this is number 4. Again, this is marksburyfarm.com, and that's MARKSBURY farm.com. Think about this. Okay, you remember the supply chain. You know, we had some issues with the supply chain. You go to the grocery store, there would be nothing there. I mean, it's beginning to happen again now. Okay, there's been a threat of COVID to happen. And people start buying things up, or something happens to the supply chain. It's broken. Maybe the truckers can't get it to the correct place, or they get stalled somewhere out on the road. Friends, there's going to be a lot of that happening if we go to electrical vehicles. Okay, that's going to happen. But if I go to my local farmer and I buy my beef there, I stick it in the freezer, and you can get a freezer now for under $200. Like, you know, it's a small one. It's all we needed anyway. I have 2 small ones. So if I do that, and by the way, freezers now are much more economical to use. They're not like hogs for the electricity anymore. So they're much more efficient in the way they run. So you're not using a whole lot of energy. You're not paying a whole lot of money to have a freezer anymore. So you buy from your local person, you got it. I mean, I still have stuff in the freezer, and I got had a half a cow in there over a year old. We've had a lot of guests over. I mean, I cook, okay? It doesn't just sit there uncooked. I cook my stuff, and I still got a lot of meat in there. So think about that. You don't have to worry about the supply chain. It's such a huge worry now. Okay, it's better for the local environment and the local community because pastured animals promote biodiversity naturally. So let's talk about how that happens. So when animals eat from the pasture, they remove old growth, make room for new, nutritious grass. Now when animals walk, stomp, play, peck, root, and roll in the pasture, they push new seeds and manure into the soil. Grazing animals are natural fertilizers for soil, and if you have a garden, there's nothing better to put on your garden. Also, buying local meat supports your local economy rather than lining the pockets of the food industry billionaires. I'd rather help my local farmer. That's why I help these folks right here, Don and Judy Hunton. By the way, he's pastor of one of the cowboy churches in our local area as well. Okay, it's more humane. Let's talk about that. So if the meat you buy is not specifically marked grass-fed and or pasture-raised, that means the animal was raised in confinement. Confinement farming leads to animal stress, abuse, unnecessary use of chemicals and drugs. Livestock were meant to graze. The rhythm of the day and the night, the process of foraging for food is natural for their growth and development, and it creates a healthier animal. Think about this. What if you were in a confined area all the time? You remember what happened to us during COVID? We were driving each other crazy. A lot of people started having marital problems during COVID because they were stuck just with each other and they couldn't get out. They couldn't enjoy life. Think about this. People were living in apartments, how rough that must have been during COVID. We have like 38 acres, so we can get out and roam on it, no big deal. But if you're confined in a small area, you're in an apartment or you're in a subdivision, I mean, that'd be rough. So think about this. Think about cattle being conformed like that. They can't get out and they can't graze. A lot of times they're given shots. I mean, that's just not humane. You're not getting a good beef that way. If you're not convinced yet, let me tell you some more things. Okay, so here's some important things to look at on meat labels. Okay, now we talked about finding a label that says grass-fed or pasture-raised. So if you're looking for beef, buy grass-fed. Beef cattle, which means in nature they pretty much will exclusively on grass, and that's a good thing. Now, pigs and chickens don't graze grass only, but they forage in it, around, and under it as well. So for these proteins, look for pasture-raised. This means the animals were outside foraging for their own fresh food, natural to their diet. These systems are the most natural for the livestock and great for farmers and what we eat too. All natural. This should be outlined on packaging as no antibiotics, no steroids, no added hormones. Unfortunately, if your meat package does not specify this, it's highly likely that some of these chemicals were used to treat the food or the product at some point during the process. Another important note, organic products have an additional list of prohibited feeds and regulations which may be important to you, but don't choose any claim over access to pasture. That's the best. Pasture-raised products already have many of the attributes that you associate with organic, but organic products leave room for grain finishing and even confinement to quality. Now let's talk about local products, or at least products that say where they're from. Okay, a large and increasing percentage of meat with special claims like all natural or grass-fed comes from overseas. Many such claims are based on more than a paper trail of affidavits, and it's always better to trust the source than the claim. Buy local, that means there's no other choice. Lastly, let's not forget to mention the increased cost of buying local and grass-fed. There's no getting around the fact that local grass-fed meat is more expensive for the customer because it's more expensive to farm responsibility. I'm gonna say that's not true, because here's what happened. So I'm charged by the pound. Okay, that actually means they're blending in the ground beef that has been processed locally, by the way, as well as steaks, as well as all your other forms of beef, whether that be roast or whatever. So actually, per pound, I got a great buy. I mean, it was an incredible buy. So that's the only thing I don't agree with on this one right here. So consider shopping local. Go straight to the source for the best prices. That's what you need to always do. Buy in bulk and freeze, or can. I'm actually going to learn how to can my next batch that comes in. Go straight to the source, buy in bulk and freeze. This can make things more cost effective when shopping online or at your local source. Number 3, learn to cook with less expensive cuts and utilize the whole animal. I don't even have to do that. Number 4, eat less meat. If you're pinching pennies, think quality over quantity. And we're not even eating less meat. I mean, we are probably eating more meat than we have ever ate in our lifetimes. And I still got a bunch of it in the freezer. Okay, thank you so much for watching. My name is Donna. I am your host of The Edge on IEC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Make sure you go to Lone Tree Ranch if you're local to this North Alabama area. You can find them at 256-523-6462. And I promise you, if you have to leave them a message, they're out there on the farm and they're doing something, they're herding the cattle or whatever they're doing out there, or leading them to eat, you're not going to be bothering them. Just leave a message. I promise you they're going to return your call. You can leave a text if you'd like to as well. Thank you so much for watching.